Thank you, Natalie and Kirsten, for asking me to speak today. I'm going to review two of the sit to stand tests, the 5 times sit to stand and the 30-second sit to stand. Both of these tests are very easy to administer. They take less than 5 minutes. They only require a chair and a stopwatch. So first we're going to do the 5 times sit to stand. The procedure for this is the patient's going to sit in a 17 to an 18-inch chair. Their back will be all the way against the backrest, their arms crossed and their feet firmly on the floor. Your instructions for this particular test will be as, I want you to stand up and sit down 5 times in a row as quickly as you can when I say go. Be sure to stand up fully and try not to let your back touch the chair between each repetition. Do not use the back of your legs against the chair. After the instructions, you want to give your patient the opportunity to practice 2 reps. You can also demonstrate instead if you're concerned that endurance is an issue. Your scoring for this test, you will score the amount of time it takes for them to stand up, sit down 5 times in a row, stopping your timer when their buttocks touch the chair. You want to document seconds to the nearest decimal, and a score of 0 is given if they're unable to perform this without their hands. The 30-second sit to stand, for that, the patient will sit in a 17-inch chair in the middle of the chair, arms across, and again, the feet firmly on the floor. For this, the instructions will read, I want you to stand up and sit down as many times as you can, as quickly as you can when I say go. Be sure to stand up fully and sit down fully with each repetition. Do not use the back of your legs against the chair. Continue until I say stop. Again, you want to give them the opportunity to practice 2 reps, or again, you can demonstrate instead. Your scoring for this test is the number of repetitions completed by the patient in 30 seconds. If they stand more than halfway up on your final repetition, you count that as a full stand. A score of 0 is given when the patient is unable to perform the repetitions without the use of their arms. Your clinical considerations for both tests. You should not use an assisted device or their upper extremities. If you do, you cannot compare it to the norm data. You can still use it to set your own goals and show progress for the patient. You cannot count failed reps. And this is not a dual task. So you do not want to talk to the patient and you need to count to yourself. You preferably do not want to push the chair against the wall. You want to leave it away from the wall. But if you do, just document that you do. And if you have a tall patient, you can certainly give a cushion in the seat to raise them up to 90 degrees of hip flexion. And if you have a shorter patient, you can bring them forward until their feet are firmly on the floor. You just, again, need to document that that was a change. Comparing the 2 sit to stand tests, the 5 times sit to stand assesses both functional lower extremity strength, transitions of movement, balance, and fall risk. Again, it's only 5 minutes or less to administer. It has age norms and cutoff scores. It has MDCs and MCID. It has been researched with both neurological conditions, vestibular conditions, OA, joint conditions, and community dwelling elderly. The 30-second sit to stand also assesses functional lower extremity strength, transitions of movement, and endurance, and again takes 5 minutes or less. It does have age norms and cutoff scores, but it does not have MDC or MCID scores. It has been researched with OA and joint conditions and community dwelling elderly. The next slide will show the comparisons of the normative values, and the 5 times sit to stand is the only one that has the MCID, which is equal or greater than 2.3 seconds. And now I'll hand it over to Kirsten to continue.